Results for the Independent Examinations Board were released last week, and the 2014 pass rate was a staggering 98.38%. Comparable to last year's pass rate, it's a little bit down from the 98.56 percentage points in 2013. 85.45% obtained a pass good enough for entering tertiary studies, while 11.56% compared to 2013 qualified for entry to diploma studies. 9,976 full-time and 475 part-time candidates from 191 schools across the country wrote the Independent Examinations Board, that's IEB, National Senior Certificate Examinations in November of 2014. The IEB prides itself on running examinations of the highest professional standards, they say. The examining panels consist of top educationalists who keep abreast of best practice locally and both internationally. Marking, they say, is of the highest quality as well as accuracy. Now, for an analysis of the 2014 IEB results, we are joined by the Chief Executive Officer of the Independent Examinations Board, Anne Oberholzer. Very good morning to you, Anne. Thank you for joining us again.
It's my pleasure, Evan.
Quickly, give us your reaction to the overall results that was announced yesterday as the IEB.
Yesterday's results,
yes.
The state results. Well, I think the slight decline can be attributed to the new curriculum. Adjustment to a new curriculum always takes time, especially with the maths and the science. Both curricula with the caps are now more demanding than they were in the past, and that takes adjustment. So, I mean, I think they're still very good. For a country like South Africa with the backlog it has, 75% is not something that should be frowned upon.
That's 3 out of every 4 students that's passed. But in South Africa, we spoke about it a little bit earlier with our previous guest, this obsession we have with this pass number in matric. Is it something that's really a negative and holding us back a little bit, that we focus on the quantity rather than the quality of people that we're bringing through our schooling system into tertiary institutions and then into the wider economy?
Look, I mean, I think one of the biggest problems in our past history has been access. And I think government has done an enormously good job in opening access to education. A whole lot of people who would never have seen the inside of grade 12 classroom are now emerging from the system with a qualification. To focus at the matric level, though, I do think is missing the point. Teaching and learning starts way before that, even before school. It's what do parents do with their children? What happens within the family? Do we encourage children to talk and communicate, express themselves properly? Do we encourage them by asking questions? Do we raise their curiosity? Because that's where learning starts.
Yeah.
Learning is about curiosity. It's about wondering about the world you live in. And if we as parents don't encourage that in our children from little, why do you like to wear that pink dress? Why don't you like the blue dress? And start encouraging children to analyze why they're doing things.
To think a little bit analytically in a way, but it's also important for parents to make a contribution in the schooling of their children. In South Africa, do we have a problem? Maybe it's a strong word to say, a problem with parenting in a sort of education, in an education scenario?
I think that there is a tendency amongst some parents to leave it to the school. The teachers are the experts, and therefore I'm handing my child over. That's fair enough in some respects. Teachers are supposedly the experts in how to explain knowledge and concepts. But as a parent, there is nothing more encouraging to a child than to know that their mother or their father is interested in what they are doing.
Yeah.
So if the parent is not at home asking, what did you do today? Explain that to me, how does it work? Yeah. The child doesn't see a connection between what's happening at home and at school.
And they lose a bit of interest then. But let's talk about the IEB, and you once again returned fantastic results. What do you think is behind the fantastic results that you churn out year after year?
I would go back to exactly what I've been talking about. I think what we've got in the independent school sector, and certainly in aspects of the state sector, it's not isolated to independent schools. Any good schooling institution has a combination of 3 things. Children who are prepared to work and are committed to working. Yeah. Children who realize the importance of education and are prepared to work at it from young. You have a supportive parent community, parents who take an interest not only in the child, but in the school and what's happening at the school. I don't mean the helicopter parent who's sitting in the classroom and telling the teacher what to do and what not to do. That parent is probably more destructive than anything. But parents who are interested and want to do the right thing for their child.
Interested in their child's life across the board, really, and education should only be one dynamic within that entire picture.
Absolutely.
Quickly, one final question I want to ask you is, you know, science and math has been the one area that's always problematic for us, it seems. How did the IEB students go, and if there's an improvement, what have you guys done differently?
Well, I think what we've maintained at the IEB is a fairly high uptake of both science and maths. About 66% of the learners offer maths, and about 49, nearly 50% offers physical sciences. They are the challenging subjects, the gateway subjects.
Yeah.
And I think what has happened with the CAPS is a recognition early on of what the changes would be, and a dedicated commitment to ensuring that both teachers and learners know what to expect. So as a result, over 88% in both subjects gained over 40% pass in those two subjects, of which we're very proud. And I think the secret goes back to committed teaching force, committed learners, and a supportive working environment for both.
That's the secret. Let's hope that with the CAPS curriculum we can transfer that into mainstream here in South Africa and get the kind of results that you guys have been getting at IEB. Anne, thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
That, of course, is Anne Oberholzer, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the IEB.